This is Our Blood Runs Black, a podcast honoring the people, the faith, and the coalfield legacy that shaped generations.
Hello, we're here today again with another broadcast or podcast about our book entitled Our Blood Runs Black. I'm Rebecca Reiner White.
And I'm Marsha Sutherland Self.
And we have someone lined up to talk to us about coal mining, and his name is Danny Mann, and we're really excited to have you, Danny. Thank you for being here.
Glad you're here, Danny.
Well, thank you for the invite. I've listened to a lot of the stuff that's been said here in the other podcasts, and I try to think maybe I can add something to it that would make it more interesting, whatever, but we want the facts known so people know what coal mining is. I was on the mine rescue team less than a year when the McClure 1 disaster happened. But what I considered a plus was to have a captain that had been through disasters, had been through before. Our trainer was probably the best mine rescue trainer in the country. And the training that they provided for us, it was amazing. And something that he said to me once, we had 3 teams. We had 2 teams that were union and 1 team that was salary. And I made a comment once about the teams, this or that. He said, when you're on mine rescue, you're nothing.
You're nothing. That's
It doesn't
right.
matter.
That's what we made clear too.
Yeah, the union doesn't matter. You are a mine rescue man. It doesn't matter who you are.
You're a coal miner.
You're a coal miner, and you're here to do something that's really hard to do, and to be trained to do it. The training I had received in less than a year probably wasn't adequate to do what our captain was doing and some of the other were doing, but still, it was enough to know I knew how to wire a mine rescue machine. And to wire those things, it was a BG-74, and they weighed about 40 pounds, 35, 40 pounds on you, and you had oxygen bottle in those things, 3,200 pounds pressure in those things. So you go 5 or 6 hours on that machine. They were 4-hour machines. You go longer than that with it. But anyway, when the McClure disaster happened, another mine rescue member, Ed Rudder, called and said, let's go, what's going on? He said, there's got an explosion in McClure 1. And at that time, I knew Ronnie, my brother, worked there. And I did not know he had signed day shift. And I knew he worked on 2 left. But I didn't ask about if he was there. I had a job to do. That was pretty tough, not knowing. And so I don't know when I found out that he had signed a day shift job and he wasn't on 2 left.
So your brother worked section 2 left,
Yes.
on the evening shift.
And I thought he was still working there.
And you thought he was still
in
there.
my mind, I did not know he had signed off to the day shift.
So he had moved to
I knew there was fatalities. I knew that they had already rescued 3 people, and nobody mentioned Ronnie, and so I didn't know, and I didn't want to know. I had a job to do, regardless, as to what the circumstances, what they were. But anyway, going back to being trained as a mine rescue man, and we went through other disasters after that, but it prepared me for other things in life, that I ended up doing in my career. But what that does in mine rescue, when you're involved in a disaster like that, it shows you the things you should not do, the things how to do it safely. So I worked in safety most of my career. I worked 44 years in coal mining, and I was 6-7 years in the union. I was a mechanic. I was shuttle car and did things that normal miners do. And I took a salary job in safety, and then I ended up becoming a state mine inspector for almost 20 years. But all that prepared me for a life in, career in safety. And I worked in West Virginia for a while, safety director there over some operations there. But going back to mine rescue, the thing, I guess, you depend on other people for their expertise, and that's what I did with the captain we had, with our trainer we had, and the people on our team that were very, very experienced. But when you go in like that and you don't know really what you're going to expect to see, I know, when I saw your dad later, he came to the mines after he was able to come back over there, and I seen how bad he was injured, and he had healed, as much as it could be. Is how hot methane gets. I forget what the temperature is. Instantly it goes. It's like 1,000 degrees instantly if it ignites. That's why it is so dangerous when it burns. It gets that hot. But going back to the explosion, when we got there, and Wayne Fields, our captain, had already been underground, but I went to their mine rescue station at Carbo, and we kept the mine rescue truck ready to go. I mean, within 5 minutes of getting there, we were in the truck heading toward McClure. And
where was that?
is in Carbo.
And how far is that to?
It was 35 miles, 30 miles maybe. But anyway, we got there quickly. There's a thing that I don't remember it from a 2-hour window. You need to get to the section within 2 hours. And so by the time I got a phone call at 10:15, I think, there about that Tuesday night, and it's a 45-minute drive from my house, which I drove fast to get to the mine rescue station. We had the truck, we were getting ready, we took off and went at Cheney Creek, crossed the mountain to McClure. But it done my heart good to see the people there, that our trainer being there, the Bill Clemens, he was the manager, District 5 manager of MSHA, probably one of the most experienced mine rescue people I've ever known. And he worked for MSHA, he knew how to do it. And the thing that impressed me when we got there, they were waiting on us at Crane's Nest 1, which is the mouth of Tulette. That's where they weren't outside calling shots like they do now. They were underground waiting for us.
So Crane's Nest 1 is a section.
It was the main line. Then the section, then you have 1 left, 2 left, 3 left that drove off of those main lines.
They were
off of Crane's Nest.
Yes.
Okay.
Crane's Nest 1 was the main line. You had Crane's Nest 1 and Crane's Nest 2 were main lines, but they were separated. But then you have these sections that would drive off of those main lines. That's what they did. 1 left went up. You had County 3 up as a bleeder, and then 1 left, 2 left, and then other section happened later on. But that's the way it worked. But anyway, I was scared. I'm not going to say that I was. I was scared, because I had never been involved in it. I'd been on the mine rescue team less than a year, and I got on the team in September of '81, or 2 years, I guess, '81, and so almost 2 years. But in any event, to say that I wasn't scared, to be lying to you. But to having people with you that is experienced, they've seen this before, it really makes you get at ease some. But anyway, when we got there, and the people that was calling the shots, they weren't outside waiting like we've had other explosions happen where they're outside telling you on the phone what you should be doing. They're not seeing what you're seeing. They were up there with us. And I think, if I remember correctly, as we advanced up to left, those guys were behind us. They didn't stay down there. They were actually, behind us, and they were in fresh air. We were too at the time. We kept the machines off. We had to put the breathing apparatus on then. And but anyway, to have those people with you, experienced people, it means something to have that. So anyway, when we found the last two, and I had never seen nothing like that, where a human body. I know it's your dad. I don't want to be too over dramatic or anything.
It's fine. It's fine. Look,
And
the more people that know what can happen in an accident.
If you had been with us, you would not have recognized your daddy. I hate to put it that way. I mean, you wouldn't. And so it's just when you see that, and McCoy, they were probably the center of the explosion, and they were probably blown out of that man trip. Because the man trip drifted on. It was at the mouth of the section. And we probably went another 2,000 feet before we found them.
And that's sort of what we have had in our mind, is that they were blown from the man trip Jeep, and the man trip Jeep just stopped. But it didn't.
No, the
man trip Jeep kept rolling. See, we never thought of that. Yep. We never thought about the man trip Jeep just not stopping instantly when it happened. So it
drifted on till until this momentum stopped, and it rolled until it just momentum stopped, and that's where we found it.
About how far away did you find it from the man trip Jeep?
I would say 1,500 feet, maybe 1,500 feet or something from where their bodies were. I remember, it's just a pure estimate. It's just a pure guess how far it was. Mm-hmm. But anyway, going back to that, and you try to learn from those experiences that you go through. That Wayne and I went through the explosion at South Mountain, had 8 fatalities there. Double R had 1 fatality, and so you're never really prepared for it. I mean, you think you're trained, but to get to an actual event, you really, and everyone is different. And, and like I said, with this golden 2 hours thing, you want to get on there back as fast as you can. And you don't sit and wait, for somebody to make a decision. And
Is this the man trip Jeep?
that's the
Found
man
it?
trip Jeep there. That was it was out by where the bodies were found. The last two. were found.
That's the one that McCoy and FC Reiner
Yeah,
was
that
in.
is. That is correct. Yes,
Okay.
it is. And so
When you speak that he was difficult to identify, that is how important the ID tag is that they
let me
wear
show
on their
this.
belt.
The supposed to see this on this is a identification tag that was on FC Reiner's his belt. It's got his name, his social security number, and this is actually when he's at the Moss 2 mine. It has the Moss 2 mine on it. And so we look for those when we identify the body. We would always, that's required by law, by the way. You have to have, it's required by law to have an identification tag, and it's for that. If you have an explosion, that's the purpose, is to identify the body. Because you can't identify them sometimes just because you have to have something like that. That brass tag won't burn. You can identify the person because of that tag. But anyway, let me talk a little bit about the South Mountain explosion. And we had time to put our thoughts together. The other mine rescue teams were, they've been halfway. And the show, there was 6 of us. Four of us. It was Wayne Fields, Ed Rudder, and me and Gary Austin. And we were leading the team. And we took this black and white telephone line. It's just between telephones, the battery operated. Wayne had a permissible phone on his belt that he could hook up. And it was about probably 500 feet long of this cable, and we would drag it and go 5 crosscuts at a time. And me and Gary Austin would go across and check 3 entries. Him and Ed Rudder would check 3, and we'd get methane ready, call outside, tell them what we had, and we wouldn't wait for them to tell us to go on.
Mm-hmm.
We'd bug it on. While they're making decisions outside about what we should do or shouldn't do, we were gone. Mm-hmm. And so it took us.
Going on a man trip Jeep?
No, we walked.
You walked?
We walked.
Wow.
But that was at South Mountain. But that just showing, we knew we were experienced. We knew that time's of essence. You got to get in. You got to get out. You can't. It's like being in a loaded gun with a maniac at the trigger, because it can go off again, and you don't have time to sit there and diddle daddle back and forth. What you should or shouldn't do. Either you do it or you don't. Either you do it or get out. And so we knew that.
So at South Mountain, was that an explosion?
It was.
As well?
It was.
Were there fatalities
There
involved?
was 8.
So it's sort of like a battle.
Yeah.
You're on the battleground. You either go in or you don't.
Yeah.
Then you have to go
But
in.
we were so well trained. I'm not kidding. The trainer we had and with the people with experience we had, and I'm going to say this. It was kind of fun looking back on it. The federal people, they knew our team. They knew we were probably I'm going to say that, one of the best teams in the nation.
Okay.
Because of our experience, not because of our smartness, because of our experience.
Mm-hmm.
We had probably the best team in the nation. And so they wanted us to go in to do the final recovery and to inspect the section and find the bodies. They pulled us out initially because the methane built up.
Mm-hmm.
They drilled a hole, ventilated, got it down to whatever percent it was. And so there was 3 teams. I don't say the teams were, but there were 3 teams, and they put all 3 names in a hat. And so they'll draw out which team would go underground. Well, our name come out.
Wow.
And there was a guy unofficially told me, he said, your name's in there 3 times.
Oh.
Not because of the team, because of our experience.
Yeah.
They wanted our team to
They
go in
wanted you
because the other team, it wasn't their fault, it wasn't negative toward them, but they lacked the experience.
Yeah.
They knew our team, they knew we had a good team. And that's a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. It may be true, it may not, but it was an MC guy who told me that, federal guy.
Mm-hmm.
He said, your name may have been in there 3 times. The Dank team's in there 3, or the Clinchfield team's in there 3 times. So regardless of what name they pulled out, it's our team.
Yeah,
But it's because they knew us.
You're it.
And we worked with those guys. We knew them. They worked with us. They expected us. We had a lot of respect for them. They had a lot of respect for us. And so we went in. That's when we recovered those 7. The 8th one, we had trouble finding him. Another team actually found him. He was out in the Galbraith. They found him. But anyway, there was 8 people killed there.
So how long were you underground at McClure? One that.
We got back outside probably about 4 o'clock in the morning, Wayne. About 3 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about 5 hours on the ground.
And that's how long it took you to find all of them?
Well, we had to walk 5,000 feet. We had to walk a mile.
Mm-hmm.
That section was a mile deep from the main line.
Okay.
So, and you're doing that, and what happens? You can't just go. You got to make methane checks
Yeah.
and make sure
Right.
everything is safe as you go, and it was.
Yeah. And this is the inside of the Jeep that,
That's actually inside of the shuttle car.
car that I drove.
That's a shuttle car.
That Cat Counts was assigned to.
Yeah.
oh, this is where Cat Counts was assigned to
That
this
was,
shuttle.
it's a shuttle car. It's a right drive shuttle
See
car.
the steering wheel on it. This is like the steering wheel.
Oh,
You sit down and the steering wheel's in front of you right here. When you go back in this direction, you swing around and get in the seat on that side, and the steering wheel is right here. You just switch directions in the cab depending on the direction that you're going with the shuttle car. You drive up to the face and get a load of coal. You swing out and get back in the other seat and drive in the other direction to go dump your coal.
okay.
And that's the actual shuttle
That's
car
what
that Cat Counts and I rode, or that we drove.
Okay.
Yeah.
2 minutes ago, we said off camera before we started recording about being on my rescue team, and Wayne and I and the guy named Don Duncan, we were in a situation at a different explosion. You could hold your hand out like this, and I'll see your fingers. The smoke was that bad.
Right.
Methane was explosive amount, and we were really, by law, we should have evacuated. We should not have been there. But you're in there in it, and you want to get as much done as you can while you're there. And so we were trying to explore, and this is a different call, it wasn't floor one. We were trying to explore and past this pocket of methane thing where we get in line with the section that the methane may be gone, but it wasn't. And so we kind of got lost in that smoke, and we had to feel our way out.
And I'm sure that's scary also when you're lost. You can't
I had Wayne as the captain. I wasn't real scared.
You wasn't?
And I'm
Wayne's a
not
good
mentioning his
one.
name. Something happened there that we had one guy that was an experienced mine rescue man that panicked. And he started hyperventilating. He thought, and we put the breathing apparatus on, you had some residue in it before you put it on.
Right.
And he thought his machine was leaking. And those things got to be an airtight seal around your face. You can't have a beard with those because you can't get a good seal. And so he panicked and he thought his machine was malfunctioning, and it wasn't. So we had to manhandle him and get him back to fresh air.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So anyway,
Well, we appreciate you
could
being
happen,
here.
Well, that could happen to anybody in a situation like that. You may panic and think, well,
Anytime.
but it didn't happen. But that wasn't the clear one. It
Right.
was a different explosion.
Is there anything else you would like? Is there any of us have a question for him before we?
I think he explained it well.
That sounds very interesting. So proud of all of you that were there that night for our dads and for the recovery team and for the brotherhood that you all had. Just the courage and the knowledge that you have and the intellect that you guys have at running in mines and making it run correctly and being educated in the coal department. And we miss it. We miss our coal. We miss digging coal. I miss the smell of coal. I grew up with coal. We both did, and Dane Trammell. But we look forward to getting back with you on our Blood Runs Black. And thank you to Wallace for our videographer guy that's been here with us for a couple of days. And do you have anything you'd like to close with?
I wish it had been a better outcome. And when I look at something like that, I like to think about the positive, that we learned a lot on how to do things, especially when you cut two sections together and how to ventilate it correctly.
Yeah.
Some laws changed, some things happened. Every law change that happens, it's happened because of blood. Somebody, a serious accident happens. And so when that happened, once that happened, there was no temporary stop, and everything was permanent. Was cinder block where he could not just fall down, knocked out. So the
Correct.
ventilation was guaranteed. It's going to be there. You wouldn't have a deal like we had there at McClure One.
So
Okay.
what you said, every law, every change that comes about is because of
Because of an event.
someone's
Some kind of
blood.
event.
Something's
Yes.
happened.
Yes.
And we remember and honor those miners that have given their lives to provide for their families and provide for the nation, the energy sources we have. And we hope you join us again, and we thank you so much.
God bless you.
Our book is on Amazon.
Our Blood Runs Black.
Our blood runs black.
Let's dig coal. Thank you.